biggest part of our first half of the season when he had came back, and he was out for what first 5 or 6 games, and he was still. It's just a matter of kind of like waiting out the shooting slump that he's in, you know. So I'm not angry. Playing Illinois on the road obviously is going to be tough for any team in college basketball. I didn't expect much out of the game. Game ended up being much closer than it probably should have been, but for the Cats, it's kind of just bouncing back and like getting momentum rolling again. Because if they get into a flow, if they get into the rut of losing like 3 or 4 straight, March Madness, goodbye. Big Ten tournament, oh well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they get knocked out pretty early, but as long as they can get back on track, back at the Welsh, it's just a bump in the road. It's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the game after the fact, looking at the stats and everything, the things that stood out to me were, one, the rebounding stats. Northwestern out-rebounded 50-27. And then also just Illinois got to the free throw line 24 times. We got there 6. Northwestern got there 6. Like, those actually kind of seem like some of the numbers the Northwestern's women's basketball team is more used to than the men's.
Oh,
but
boy.
We'll talk about it
Northwestern
later.
women's basketball catching a stray on SportsVoice.
I am at the women's basketball games. I can talk about it. I love the women's basketball team. Just had to state the obvious there. But I think going into it, yeah, obviously ugly loss. But looking at the preseason projections, Northwestern's basically on track to where most people thought they'd be at this point in the season. There's 11 games remaining, and, most people had Northwestern between, I think the highest was like the 8th seed in the Big Ten, and the lowest was like the 12th seed. Right now, before this loss, they were 12th in the Big Ten. And so I think, like, ugly loss, but with the situation of bringing in new players and also obviously the subtraction of some all-time Northwestern players, we didn't think that was going to be a number 1 seed right there. So I'm not too disappointed on the season so far, but obviously not the greatest results.
I'm kind of just disappointed considering I feel like we had a great start to the season, especially like when Brooks Barnheiser wasn't there. It was like looking pretty up. We were like, oh, maybe he's not like such an integral part as like we thought. I think right now he's like 2 in his head maybe. I'm not really sure because you would expect that coming back from an injury. But it's been a few games. It's been like all of winter quarter, so I don't know what he's on at the moment. But he's also not the only one struggling. The past few games I've been to, it seems like no one can. I don't even know. No one can shoot. No one can make anything. People that I like have full confidence can do everything, like Ty Berry, Nick Marinelli, just missing absolutely everything. It's kind of embarrassing, but at the moment, like I think they're doing pretty well. I think the past like few 3-4 games haven't been the best, but I think if they bring back all the energy they had at the beginning of the season in November and October, like they will definitely get better. So I don't think that March Madness is like completely off the books, but I think they have to definitely step it up.
Yeah, and this is a team that, from the very beginning, pretty much everyone said they would be a true bubble team. From a metrics standpoint, this game actually wasn't the worst. Northwestern went up in KenPom after this game, especially after their second half performance. So, I don't think that any of that is off the table, but when we look ahead at some must-win games, Rutgers at home certainly feels like that should be doable for the Cats. And that could potentially be a turning point. Wisconsin immediately after that, that's a ranked team, would be a very tough game to win. But we know that this team, thrives on those home games.
Yeah, they're going to need that win.
Need that kind of upset, yeah.
I mean, today's game at Illinois, I don't think it was ever a must-win game for Northwestern. I think any game on the road in the Big Ten can't be considered a must-win because those are just tough games to win. You don't win a lot of those road games. That being said, a win would have been huge for the resume, even with Illinois' Ivisic being out. But a loss like today's, despite the score being what it was, they only lost by 9, and okay, like that looks fine on paper, but the committee, they used the eye test, and the eye test today showed that Northwestern was not a good team. They are a good team. The problem is inconsistency, and I've been saying this even since the very early stages, but this is just a team that we won't be able to rely on. I mean, just look at their 2 performances against the same Illinois team. I mean, the one that they played worse was a weaker Illinois team without their best player. And they struggled mightily today, where when they played Illinois back in the late fall, back in, I guess, December?
Yeah.
Was that December?
And that was a home game.
Right, at home, but they locked Illinois down defensively and got the job done in the closing stages. And today it was just a completely different team. There's just isn't a lot of consistency here, and that is a worry. But if they get hot at the right time and find their consistency and find their groove, the tournament is not out of the question, even after what felt like a pretty atrocious loss today. So 2 big ones coming up. Rutgers, they've been struggling, but, with some of the stars that they got, guys going to the NBA next year, that'll be a big win. And then Wisconsin on Saturday at home. That, to me, feels like kind of a must-win at this point. They need resume boosters, and they're going to be getting them at home.
And they don't have many opportunities left. I mean, the only other ranked team left on their schedule is Oregon, which is going to be an away game.
Yeah.
That'll be pretty difficult, especially if the Cats are coming off of a win against Rutgers at home. I think that Wisconsin game could be a huge turning point for them.
Yeah.
Illinois also is just kind of a bad match for the Cats at this point. I mean, they had 5 guys shooting double digits today, and so that just was rough. I think defensively this is a deep team. Northwestern is kind of trying to build up that depth. Obviously the Cats have one of the best recruiting classes in the country headed in for next year. The year after that, I think a lot of people are looking at as a potential kind of golden year. So we'll see at the future. But I mean, that score from early December, 70-66 Northwestern at home. The Cats outscored themselves in this game. It was they've 74, but Illinois,
garbage time does wonders.
Exactly, garbage time does do wonders, but it really was not the performance they were looking for. Similarly, another rivalry matchup for the women's team also fell to the Illini. That game far less close. 85-60. Northwestern still yet to get their first Big Ten win. They're 0-7 in the conference, Sammy. They're above winless Purdue, which has lost more games because Northwestern had 2 games, one against UCLA and one against USC, that were postponed due to the wildfires. But their last win was 68-60 against Howard University. Early on in non-conference games. They've had close games with Minnesota and Indiana. Those were home games. They had Michigan. That was an away game early on. A lot of people were very hopeful about things. But, otherwise really struggling. So, I mean, do we see this team having any kind of relief before that sort of run of Penn State, Purdue, and Rutgers later on?
I don't know. I thought they were in a really good position to, string together some wins. When we were 0-5, when Northwestern was 0-5, and then, what was deflating was really the 20-point the 20-point lead that Northwestern blew to Minnesota.
I'll be talking about that too. But,
that was, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna steal your thunder, but
I
just want to say a point or two about that because I know Sammy's gonna talk about this.
No, feel free. Yeah, go on whatever tangent.
When you're up 20 at home at the Welsh. And the Welsh Ryan Arena in college basketball for men's, and I would even say for women's basketball, is probably one of the most difficult places for a basketball team to play at. When you're up by 20 at Welsh Ryan Arena, you should never lose a game. Never. Grace Golholski had 25, 27 points and dragged Minnesota to a 6-point victory. I don't know how that happens. This team has to learn how to finish. So, and Illinois, they were just not. That was just not a game that we were. I saw Northwestern winning, but Defensively, this team's just not great. Team's not great. Let's see. Illinois had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in the double digits team, almost like just like the men's team today. I guess with both teams, defense, big man presence, paint presence, is just like the biggest problem with Northwestern basketball. If you don't have a presence in the paint, you're giving up points in the paint consistently, you can never win as a basketball team.
Yeah.
If you're not grabbing rebounds, you cannot win as a basketball team. It's completely impossible. It's asinine to believe that no matter how talented offensively you are, because this team is talent. Kyla Jones, Grace Sullivan, this team is talented, so talented offensively. But if you're not grabbing rebounds underneath the basket, you can't win as a basketball team. If you're not playing good paint defense, you can't win as a basketball team. It's impossible.
I'd say the conversations I've had about Northwestern's women's basketball is that it just feels like it's always something different. It feels like the team is just inconsistent. Sometimes it's the turnovers, sometimes it's the rebounding, like we said. Sometimes it's the offensive, sometimes it's the defensive consistency. It feels like they're never able to catch a rhythm. And we were talking about if they will find some relief before that little stretch of games that they hit. And the games in that slate are Iowa, Michigan State, and Illinois. And I think they have the best chance against Iowa based on record and everything. But if we look at the stats,
that place will be packed with 14,000. I mean, it's a tough place to play.
I bet. Yeah, but looking at least just based on record, Iowa, they've got the best chance against Iowa. But don't worry, I'm not going to be too positive. Let me get to the bad part first. Just looking at Iowa's past losses. They lost, let's just even go by ranked teams. They lost by 8 to number 8 ranked Maryland and lost by 2 to number 21 ranked Michigan State. And all the other losses I have here, which are 3 others, are also in the single digits. Meanwhile, 4 of the last 6 Northwestern losses are all double-digit losses. And like we said, even the game against Illinois, a lot of garbage time points. There was a time during that game where Northwestern was down 30 points. So it's a tough struggle. And like Matt said, they're extremely talented. Like Kyla Jones, Taylor Williams, love watching her play. Kaylee Walsh, Grace Sullivan, Melanie Daly, all of them. They've got immense talent. It just doesn't feel like they're able to seamlessly connect as a team, and feels like there's problems with their chemistry in my mind.
No, yeah, absolutely. There is no chemistry in sight in this team. I went to one of their last games. There was probably 5 of us there watching that game, which obviously doesn't feel good.
Respect. Yo, major respect.
Huge respect.
I was just sitting there, and it's so different than the environment of the men's basketball. And I feel like that definitely does come into play. If no one is watching your games, you're definitely not going to feel this immense pressure from both student sections when there's literally 4 of us. But I do think there is no chemistry in this team. There is just absolutely, they're just all over the place.
Yeah. And
it's gonna be really hard. I do not think they're gonna find any relief, especially Penn State, Purdue, Rutgers after that. This is not their season.
Off the bench, maybe. No, I'm so serious. Their bench production is. Looking at their bench production, you obviously got Grace Sullivan coming off the bench. She's a bucket.
Their 2 highest scorers come off the bench.
That's what I'm saying.
Melanie Daly, Grace
Sullivan coming off the bench. That's literally gonna be. Their whole season is going to be how efficient is your bench. The starters, the starting lineup is a defensive lineup. Grace Sullivan coming off the bench. Melody Daly coming off the bench. Kat Reininger, shout out Kat. I've gotten to know her in winter quarter, so shout out Kat if you're listening.
Zamaya Let It Fly Walton right there.
Zamaya Let It Fly Walton, yeah, thank you. So, these are players that are consistently putting up 9 points a game, which is okay, what are you talking about, Matt? What 7 points gonna help? But when you add that up amongst 3, 4, 5 players coming off the bench, 30. That's 30 points. That's 30 points you're getting a game.
Yeah.
Just off the bench alone. You know.
Yeah.
And this team is talented. It's just the defensive side and the rebounding side. Northwestern got out rebounded in this game, 43-32 by Illinois.
Yeah. No, I'll echo a lot of that. I mean, I feel like I have the same conversation about this women's basketball team every week, but I'll reiterate it. I mean, going into this season, I really did feel hopeful about this team. Did I think they were going to make the tournament? Absolutely not. Did I think there was like a small sliver of a chance? And did I think they'd maybe like get some wins in the Big Ten and compete in games? I did. And they have competed in some games. That is different from last year. Last year, they were pretty much not in any ball games at all. And the Illinois loss was bad, but kind of what you were saying, Matt, the Minnesota loss last Sunday was the worst loss I think I've seen that team.
The Minnesota loss was the worst
suffer.
loss we've had in a couple of years.
Well, I mean, I think given the context, given the strides I felt and a lot of people felt this team was supposed to make, that was just brutal because, I mean, that would have been their first ranked win, I believe, since 2022. That's about 3 years without a ranked win. And they had it. They had 10 minutes to go.
They were dominating.
They were dominating
the entire game. Sam.
When that hey, I didn't do anything. No, but when like you said, I mean, when you're dominating a game like you are, and then you lose it. I mean, like everything just falls in that fourth quarter. That's a really tough pill to swallow, and in the Big Ten, it never gets easier. Iowa is not what they were last year, but playing Iowa on the road is tough.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, I will be there. Tune in on WNUR 89.3. I will be making the trip to Iowa tomorrow. Will be fun, but it's going to be tough for them because since Caitlin Clark, she's not on the team anymore, but since Caitlin Clark, that is still a venue that attracts thousands of people to every game, and not every Big Ten venue can say that. I mean, that place will be packed tomorrow, or 2 days. That place will be packed on Tuesday, and it's going to be tough for Northwestern, and like I said, road doesn't get easier. So just a disappointing season from the Cats. I hope they could get that first Big Ten win soon, but I don't think it's going to be happening on Tuesday.
This schedule just looks ridiculous. Illinois
It's
on
tough.
the road, and then Penn State at home. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Penn State on the road, and then Purdue, and then they got the Wisconsin, Nebraska. The end of I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this team anymore.
Well, Matt is right. It's a rough season ahead and a tough couple of games from both the men's and women's basketball teams. But, maybe as a distraction from all of these real sports, we can shift to our first pick'em question, which is going to be about fake sports. So pick'em for our two new guests, and for any new listeners, is a game that we play basically every episode of WNUR Sports Voice, where we ask you guys a question. It does not have to be sports related. One of these is not. They often are. We're looking for answers that are creative. We're looking for answers that are right. We're looking occasionally for answers that...
There is a correct answer every time.
There normally are correct answers. Maybe a set, perhaps, of correct answers, but there are some correct answers.
There are also incorrect answers, as Matt learned on our last episode.
There are wrong answers. Yeah.
Most definitely.
The difference between a great answer and a good answer, that's a fine line, but there's a pretty solid chasm between correct and incorrect answers. And
This
so,
is true.
we hope that you all are on the right side of that. But our first pick'em question for tonight, I'm calling Pass the Remote. So, Ted Lasso, Friday Night Lights, One Tree Hill. Americans like watching fake sports on TV almost as much as they like watching real ones. But, we have a decision to make here. What is the greatest sports TV show of our lifetimes? I don't want to extend this, too far. If you really have a special one that you feel like was on kind of before when we were alive, you can ask for permission to use that. But just to narrow the scope of it, of our lifetimes, greatest sports TV show, we'll start with Wyatt this time.
All right, well, now talking scope, will we include Eastbound and Down with Danny McBride? Yes or no? That's more of a comedic answer. He's not
I don't know
good
that
at,
show. So.
Okay, he's not good at sports. We'll just cross that one off. I guess y'all just gotta watch it now. Just a little hot pick from me. I'm gonna say either those early seasons of All-American, phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think towards the end, Spencer James was trying to get like into the NFL while also like taking down a drug ring at the same time and like balancing a work relationship life. I was like, well, kind of want to see you catch a touchdown.
Not having watched the show, I'm very confused.
And is in his DNA, as we say at Northwestern.
So it got a little much towards the later half, but like the first 2 seasons were peak ball. And then the other one, I don't know if we're counting it. I got a lot of I don't know if we're counting it ones. Are we choosing karate as a sport?
Karate's a sport.
Karate's a sport.
So I can say-
you will have to pick one answer.
So I can say Cobra Kai, the show?
You
Oh.
can say it, but you have to pick one as an answer.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna say. All right, I'm going Cobra Kai. I
There we go.
love it. I love the revival of the old Karate Kid movies into a new saga, and I am hyped for the series finale coming out later this year. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
I'll pass the mic.
Oh, okay. I'm wholly unprepared for this question because I've only watched Friday Night Lights, the movie, and blanked out on absolutely everything else I've ever watched regarding sports, maybe ever. But is F1 or car racing a sport?
F1 is a sport.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
and it's a real sport, so it doesn't count for this. This
Oh.
is a fake sports.
No,
question.
no,
There is
yes.
there's the Drive to Survive.
Can
on
I
this-
say, like, cars?
Cars? That's a sports movie.
That's
no.
a movie.
That-
Oh, this
wait,
has to be
we're
a
doing
show.
TV shows. Okay, wait. I got really excited. Okay.
Sammy was like, cars? He said cars.
Cars
No,
is peak.
I think we had a conversation about cars on SportsVoice, I believe, last year. With Charlie Spungen.
did.
Yes,
We
I'm
did
gonna need to
last
tell him
year.
about this.
Yes,
but
cars
we bring
came
it
up.
up frequently.
Yes,
Anyways,
it has to be
yes.
a fake sports TV show.
Well, if it
Okay.
needs to be a show, could it be Mater's Tall Tales?
Oh, could it?
I think that counts.
That
I think that counts.
Thank you.
I actually might switch my answer at that point.
Yes, whatever
All right,
that
so
was
we
called,
got
I agree.
Cobra Kai and Mater's Tall
Mater's Tall
Tales.
Tales.
Matt, the floor is yours.
I was also unprepared because I didn't think it would be fake sports. So I went with The Last Dance
I think
originally.
that's a TV show.
I went
Yeah.
with The Last Dance originally because it was quarantine.
I think that counts.
Does that count?
I count that.
We'll count that?
We'll count
We're
it.
counting the real events as a fake sporting thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a sports
so
TV show.
guys,
I'm just saying.
And many, there was lots of glorification in there, so you could say maybe
There
parts of
was
it were
some
fiction,
tall tales,
right? There were
yeah.
some tall tales.
I think The Last
Look,
Dance.
and you can answer that way at your own risk, right? Like the core of the question, I said
Wow.
Americans like watching fake sports on TV. And so if you want your answer to be about a real sport, we'll still evaluate it because it might be a great show, but we'll be thinking about it maybe from that angle.
But I just want to like emphasize the context.
Yes.
Quarantine.
Hmm.
We have nowhere to go. So all we have, or at least all I had to do, was look forward to Thursday night. Because Thursday night, a new episode of The Last Dance was coming out. And I needed to learn the lore about Michael Jordan during that three-peat. Oh my God. That was the most fun thing the most fun thing to do. And then Friday morning, I would just, log into my Netflix account and then just binge every single episode up until that point. So, Last Dance, I think, is the greatest sports show of my lifetime.
No, the Last Dance, as a Bulls fan, was really fun to watch because I'm not really used to watching that team win games. So it was kind of
It's so sad to say.
it's sad. I was having this conversation with friend of the show, Eli Cronenberg, the other day. But the Bulls are destined for the 9 seed permanently. Every single season, the play-in, it's just God chose us for that path. We're gonna do our pick'ems, but we may have to do like a live reactions for our NFL segment because we are getting in the thick of it in this game.
Yeah, this is crazy.
For those of you not watching, which if you're not watching, go do that, please. It's about 3 minutes left, 3-point game. Bills are driving. Good stuff. We'll get back to that in a little bit. We got to finish pick'em, which is definitely more entertaining. So second one, this is the not sports related one, but it's a fun one because I'm always looking for recommendations. So that's what this question is about. Recommendations. You guys are all new here. We've been here a little longer than you guys, but not by much, just a year longer. In your first quarter and a half of college, most underrated Evanston restaurant or coffee shop? Tell me, give me some hidden gems here.
This one's not really underrated, but maybe as like a fast food restaurant, I'm gonna say all reliable Insomnia. Especially
Classic.
now, okay, but let me explain. For those of you that are listening and are from Northwestern and be like, Matt, like, what are you talking about? Like, we go to Insomnia every Friday night. You guys, when it's a negative 10 degree wind chill outside, there's nothing better than after that cold trek to downtown Evanston getting a warm cookie from Insomnia. Holding it in your hand, just a mere fact, just holding it in your hand on the way back, it's enough. Actually being able to taste it when you're freezing your face off. I don't think there's any better feeling in the wintertime in Evanston than doing that. So I'm gonna go
All right.
Insomnia specifically for when it's freezing outside.
I might be the worst person to ask this question. I do not leave campus ever. If I could, I would say Allison Dining Hall, and if I couldn't say that,
Wow.
I would say Plex Dining Hall, and
Wow.
I'd keep going to Sarge and whatever the other one is.
Allison Dining Hall is your best eats on campus. You got to explore a little bit.
Not even Fran's or Lisa's. Guys. Take that in.
I'm not saying France. I'm balling on a
Coffee
budget.
Berkeley, yeah.
I'm using my meal plan. I am making the most of my money.
I respect
Yeah.
that.
But
You know what?
if I had to give an answer, just reframing the question for myself. If I need food, I'm just going to Whole Foods. Whole Foods, 5-minute walk, and really, you can get whatever there. I mean, not a restaurant, whatever. Go to their bakery section and get the Carmelita. Oh my goodness, that might be best dessert I've ever had.
That's a good underrated spot.
that's
Actually,
very-
yeah.
I think
That
it's
turned from a really bad take to a really good.
I had to
take,
adapt,
so,
you
yes.
know.
Incredibly
Good
underrated.
pivot. That's a 180. Good
The
job.
hot bar at Lisa's the hot bar at Whole Foods is low key elite. I gotta say that. So
There we go.
Yeah.
I'll back you on that.
There we go.
But also, 5-minute walk. Where do you live?
I don't have that good of a sense of direction.
Okay.
I'm just kind of ballparking things.
Underrated Evanston restaurant. Probably the only one I've been to, but Mumbai Indian Grill is like pretty good. They have a Wildcat discount, which is pretty fire. Balling on a budget. Amazing service. The food is great. It's not expensive. I like Indian food. It's better than Sergeant's sad tries at Indian food.
Yes.
So it's pretty good. I don't know.
Speaking of the balling on a budget conversation, Sammy and I aren't participating. We're evaluating, but I have to recommend, especially for the winter, just kind of combining some things that you guys have said. Shang Noodle is my favorite restaurant in Evanston. You can split with someone a truly massive noodle soup. You can get it spicy or not spicy. They've got seafood, beef, chicken, basically veggie, whatever you want. And it's like $15 maybe. And so between the two of you, that's like, a really great dinner for wintertime to warm up. So, but great answers from these three. That moves us to our third question, parlay all day. I think probably all of us, as station members, have friends or family members who are kind of obsessed with sports betting. And perhaps, one of the most agonizing aspects of sports betting to watch other people participate in, at least for me, I don't bet myself, is the parlay. And so, I was thinking we'd do a little bit of our own parlay here, and we won't get to see whether or not it pays out by the end of this episode. We will eventually, but the question, this is going to be a 3-leg parlay. What are 3 predictions you have for the month of February? We'll judge the most creative ones now that we think are true predictions. But if any of you get this right, I'm going to be writing down, there will be a prize. So if any of you have a set of 3 predictions that are both creative and end up coming true, you will be rewarded in the future.
Do they have to be sports related?
They do not.
Oh.
Any 3 predictions. They can be, but they do not.
Okay.
Okay, I'm prepared. I said, 1, there's a sad attempt of Southern comfort food for like Black History Month, specifically at Allison, because I feel like they never hit it. They never hit it. They do like Hispanic food, and I'm just like, oh guys,
Such a sad
I can't
prediction.
have enough. Well, I have to be realistic. Then 4 students get frostbite. I don't know how we'd count that.
4.
4 specifically. I was gonna say
Okay.
10, and then now that seemed like a lot.
That's
Yeah.
very high.
Yeah.
I don't know
4.
anyone who's ever had frostbite.
Yeah.
I know one
Don't,
person.
let's not jinx it for any of
Yes.
us.
Yeah, I watched me be the person.
Oh wow.
Good things going on.
Well, I for those of you maybe not watching, you're hearing us react. It appears that there's a flag.
It was Josh Allen fourth and
Josh Allen
Josh Allen,
threw.
fourth and 5,
He tried his
just
best.
he got blitzed and then threw it to the stars.
Yeah.
Just
There's a
chucked it
flag.
out. I think this
What's
one's
this gonna
against
be?
the Bills.
But yeah, we know who the flags favor.
We already,
Yeah.
we already
Yeah.
know.
Let's be realistic.
Let's
Oh
be
my gosh.
realistic.
been
Yeah.
ridiculous.
So
I think
Bills
that-
do have 3 timeouts, so it's not over, but that.
Oh, he got
He's Josh Allen.
rushed.
Josh Allen has just been chucking the ball all game, just chucking it into the Chiefs secondary. I don't know what
He's been doing a good job of letting the game come to him though, and using James Cook so far though. He's not trying to play hero ball out there. I feel like he's doing a good job.
I think the flag
Yes.
was holding.
So the Chiefs have it now. Yeah. So okay, I guess before we do our last pick'em, I guess we're already on NFL.
Yeah.
So maybe we could just do a quick little NFL talk,
Yes.
and then we'll get to this last pick'em.
Or we can do the draft instead. We can just sort of end pick'em after 2. If we
Yeah,
want.
we're on Sports Voice. We are adjustable
We
to the
adapt.
situation. We
Yes.
adapt.
It's electric.
It is electric.
Electric.
Yes. Yeah, I love to hear that. So NFL. So it unless some crazy things happen here in these next 2 minutes of gameplay, the Super Bowl no one wanted will be given to us.
Super Bowl
Um,
rematch.
We are getting the Chiefs and the Eagles. Unless something goes terribly wrong for Patrick
Please.
Mahomes and Taylor Swift and company.
He's part of the team at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. At this point, she may put her out at DN. She could do some
Do
damage.
we have any Swifties in the room? Or
I would not consider myself a Swiftie.
I like Taylor Swift. I don't think I can call myself a Swiftie. But
I think they'd get mad.
I'm gonna be honest. Shake It Off and Welcome to New York are bangers. I'm not
Yes,
a
oh,
Swiftie per
absolutely.
se.
There are some bangers in
If
there.
those come on, I'm bumping those in the
Yes.
car. You know.
no,
Yeah.
there's some
I can't
great
deny
tracks in there.
artistic greatness when I hear it.
Yeah,
There we go.
I agree.
Didn't shake it off.
So
Exactly.
Shake it
I'm
off.
telling you.
we're gonna do some in-depth Super Bowl predictions next week. So if you want to come back and do that, but okay, just real quick in the spur of the moment, Super Bowl predictions. If it will indeed be Chiefs and Eagles, give us a score. Why not? And we could see if you guys are right. Maybe this could count for your prediction for February too.
Last Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl was 35-32 Chiefs. I think we get another high-scoring one. I think it's going to be crazier. I say we get a 45-43 Eagles victory.
43. That's a fun little.
Fun score.
Fun numbers. Fun numbers.
No, I like it. Keeping us off guard.
I think I'm trying to do the math in my mind of what makes sense for an NFL score right now, but I'm feeling 38-32 Eagles. I think Eagles got it. I want Eagles to have it. I'm projecting what I want to happen on the mic right now, but yeah, I think Eagles got it. Saquon gonna carry
So
them
we got
to the chip.
two takers of the Eagles.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Will Olivia join?
Well, no, yes. Yeah, I'm tired of the Chiefs.
All
I'm
right.
done. I'm tired. It's been 2 straight years. You're about to have it again. I know the 50s are going to be mad, but I'm tired. I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't really have a score prediction. I just, again, they went at it last year. Very close. They're going to go. It's going to be close again. It's going to be hard to call, just like this game, until the last possible second. So I don't really have any score prediction.
And I gotta say, I mean, you gotta feel for the Bills as a franchise. I mean, this is their
What a
window.
Oh,
This is their window right now, and they just. I think an interception just went through their hands. Is that what that was?
that
Or no,
was a
that was from
replay.
earlier.
That was a
That was from
replay.
earlier. Okay, yeah, okay.
Oh,
But regardless, they just keep coming up short. I mean, this is their window, and they have a team that is good enough to win the Super Bowl. And they've had a team that's good enough the past few years, and the Chiefs have just been a roadblock that they can't overcome. And it's not quite as bad as that stretch, in the 90s, where they lost 4 Super Bowls in 4 straight years. But, I mean, it's as close as you can get to that without it being that.
Yeah.
It's just really a pretty cursed franchise that they've been so close so many times and they just cannot get over that hump. And it's just a rough game to lose where, I mean, once again, all these games against the Chiefs that they lost in the playoffs have been like nail biters. This is another one like this. Maybe there's some more magic left. I mean, mathematically, they'd probably have. It's a 3rd and 9 right now when we're watching this. So, like, if they can make a stop, they'll have maybe like 45-ish seconds left. Yeah, 40 seconds. But they'd have to go down the field, no timeouts. But they need 3.
It's happened before.
They need 3.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, you get a few quick passes out of bounds, right?
Josh Allen has made a drive like that before in a matter of 13 seconds.
So here's what I propose. I think we could do our draft day now, but like kind of keep an eye on this game if it gets crazy, right?
To decide our pick'em winner first.
Claire, you got it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Cobra Kai for this first one.
Oh, and that's game. Well,
I think. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, the first down. That's
Yeah.
Chiefs are going back. Wow.
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 What
Okay.
a game.
Okay. Well. Anyway, proceed, Claire. I hate to cut you off.
No, and I hate to cut the game
I
off,
don't even
but
feel like doing
you know.
the draft at this point.
Yeah, it's sad. Hey, that's what the Bills said. So. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. One that I was conventionally thinking about. All-American, another great answer, but I am gonna have to go with Cobra Kai. I'll let Sammy decide the second one. The underrated Evanston restaurant or coffee shop.
Yeah, I thought we got 3 pretty fun answers. I'm gonna go with Wyatt.
Did I go 2 for 2?
Yeah.
I cleared.
Wow.
2 for 2?
Whole Foods is so underrated.
No, you know what? I think that's a fun spin on it.
Yeah.
Because like it isn't. Most people don't really think of it as like being a restaurant, but like, the Whole Foods in Evanston has like tables.
Yeah.
So like, if you wanted to do a restaurant experience, you kind of could.
not
And the
even just
food
that,
is
yeah.
very good. I need to go there more, honestly. You kind of reminded me. I need to go to Whole Foods, and because it is very good. There's a lot of good options. Legitimately underrated.
Yeah. And
good
as
stuff.
a dessert spot too. we're
Wyatt,
so
how about it?
saturated with ice cream, Dillwins, Frio Gelato, everything else. In the winter, I think Matt, you're totally right about insomnia. You're right about that sort of warm dessert. But you can get that at Whole Foods. And it's pretty great. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with those.
I don't think a single soul on the planet is picking Whole Foods over insomnia for a dessert, but I digress.
I don't think the 2 souls here who actually mattered picked your pick over mine.
Wow.
Wow.
We are the 2 souls that matter.
Wow. So
That's actually, we're gonna rename our show to the Souls That Matter.
That's our new name.
Yep.
The Souls That Matter would like to introduce the next segment.
So fun.
Which is draft
I
day.
just hear haters out there.
I don't know.
They hate
All right.
haters.
Hey, the Souls That Matter are speaking. All right.
But yes, our next segment. This is a draft day I've been waiting to do.
This
for
is
a
a
long
fun. I
time.
am glad that we're doing this.
I'm excited for this. Our draft day segment. It's as normal. We're going to do a 3-round snake draft of things of a fun topic, and our topic this time is Super Bowl halftime shows. We have lived through some truly amazing Super Bowl halftime shows, so we're
And
gonna
some
do,
truly awful
and some
ones.
some truly terrible ones. We are going to do a 3-round snake draft of Super Bowl halftime shows. So let's see, Wyatt, since you won Pick'em, we're gonna start. We're gonna start on the other end with Olivia.
All right.
Oh,
There is a
we'll have the
correct,
first pick.
and there's a
wait.
correct first overall pick.
Okay.
Not what I was
He's
thinking.
already with that one.
I
Can't win.
in my opinion, there is a correct answer for the number 1 pick,
Wow,
but
okay.
we'll see what we go with here.
Okay. I said like a country night theme, which I know is not going to be the right answer.
Wait.
And
What I mean is like past Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah.
oh,
We don't have to start. We could start.
Shakira.
Shakira? Oh, that was a great one. Yeah.
There we go. That
Which Super Bowl was that? I forget.
50. I think that was 50.
No, 50 was Coldplay.
50,
Bruno Mars,
okay.
Beyonce.
That was good.
That was great. Okay, Matt's turn.
Okay, I think the one correct first round draft pick has got to be Michael Jackson. Like,
I was gonna say that.
Why? I mean, who else could it
I have a
it
bad
possibly
feeling
have
about
been?
54.
Picks off the board. All right.
Go-
Okay, I'm gonna go with what I think is the best value pick. I'm going 2022 West Coast Super Bowl. You know,
That
you
was
had-
really
That
good.
was
You had
great.
50. You had Snoop. You had Kendrick. It was it Mary J. Also?
Yeah.
And it was
Everyone was there.
Who
It was
wasn't
great.
there?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
West Coast. Yeah, 50 Cent was hanging from the ceiling.
You're appealing to Claire, our
Yeah.
resident LA.
California knows how to party.
There we
I'm
go.
going there first. And then Snake Draft, I get to run it back?
Yes,
Yes,
you do.
Okay, I'm going 2016 Coldplay,
Yes.
but not for the Coldplay, for the Bruno Mars and Beyonce.
Yeah,
Thank
that-
you.
yeah.
Off of
Thank
Uptown
you.
Funk and
Wyatt
Okay,
may be
Lady
on
Gaga,
a good
Spend It
path
For Me.
here.
That is so.
That
Oh,
was
it's the best
electric.
one.
Oh,
Electric.
yeah.
Good word choice.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep it recent. I'm gonna go with The Weeknd. I think The Weeknd's halftime performance was pretty solid.
Mine is
I
yeah.
was-
I'll reveal it.
I think it was fire. So I'm gonna go with The Weeknd.
It's I yeah.
I'm so.
I'll
curious.
explain.
Yeah. Okay.
Although I feel like I think she could have done well. I guess she was pregnant. I really like Rihanna.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty good. I like that she was like, I don't know, floating for half of it.
No, that was cool.
So yeah, but I feel like they haven't been that good recently.
All right, this is a real quick interjection, but fun fact: I met ASAP Rocky's aunt and uncle. They were at a
Wow.
gig of mine, and they were literally showing us pictures of the baby she was pregnant with. So anyway, that was a really random interjection, but
No, that's,
fun.
That's great to know.
One of my coolest, like, kind of sort of celebrity interactions. But,
Did you tell his aunt and uncle to tell him to drop the album already? Did you let him know that we've been waiting for like 6 years now?
I did not get to telling, but next time I see them, 100%.
Next interaction you have, just
Because I have seen them multiple times. They're like my best friends practically. Okay, so let's see who's next.
Olivia again.
Yes, right, because Snake. All right.
No. Sorry. Lady Gaga. Is that a
Yeah,
good
that
pick?
was a fun one.
I'm gonna go. I'm surprised this one's still up here. Prince is a top 5.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad. I was really
The
scared that
first
wasn't gonna get
performance-
picked.
Yeah.
That one, not to mention
Well, I
the
was
Bears
gonna
were playing in that Super
It was gonna
Bowl.
be my second pick, but since Wyatt kicked it more recent,
No.
I had to get one
The
for the vibe.
Prince's
and,
halftime show. I know it was before, like
it was
we
before
were
any
watching,
of us were
but like
born,
that
but
is
I think-
objectively like
I
that's
think
the
we
best
can
one.
all agree
That's
that
the best one.
That's top 3, if not the greatest Super Bowl halftime
Yeah.
performance of all time.
Yeah.
Good take, Matt Campbell.
All right, I got quick question. Can I preemptively
No.
get the Kate? I can't get the Kate on SZA, just knowing that it's gonna be amazing.
No.
I feel like you gotta go with the past
Okay,
one.
fine.
And there's
We all know it's gonna be amazing, and Tyler might be there. Hopefully, I can pray and hope. I'm gonna go if that's the thing. I think I'm gonna go Usher. You know, I really enjoyed the performance. You know, the little dance where I was like I don't know how to describe it. Whatever dance he does up there.
That was sufficient. Yeah.
What's it?
The 1990s, early 2000s Usher vibe.
No,
Exactly.
that was
You know, like I enjoyed it. I thought the choreography was good, and you know, it's
When
Usher,
was
man.
that? That was kind of recently, right?
I
Yeah,
think that
Usher
was
was
last
last
year.
year.
That was
Yeah.
last.
It was
Okay,
last
that
year.
was last year.
It's
I
kind
was
of recent.
Somewhat.
It is as
A little
recent
bit.
as you get.
Yeah,
All right.
kind of.
So
Yeah, it was a good show. I think he performed. He didn't perform what people expected of him. I think I was certainly expecting sort of like the bar mitzvah hits of Usher, of like the kind of dance floor things, and he played a lot of his more kind of like melodic, sweet music. But it was a great halftime show. I am so biased in this. I think Sammy is the musical expert here and is the only one here who has
no.
performed in a halftime show himself.
Yes.
this
get to
is
decide
this
the
is
answer.
true.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
No shade, but I think if Claire would have picked this one, this guy Wyatt would have won 3 for 3 on the night.
Yeah.
Wait. Let's.
was on the
Okay.
I
Let.
don't know.
Oh man,
was
these are
great.
all pretty good. Wow. Matt, I gotta give it to you, man. I gotta give it to you, because I was genuinely concerned that no one was gonna take Prince, and that would have just been a travesty. And you took Prince, that made me happy. But also, in like modern memory, like The Weeknd was a good one. That was the one where it was during COVID, and they had to kind of like they had to
Like,
make a bunch of
switch
adjustments.
gears.
It was weird, but like it was very unique and it was very cool. And I think the Weeknd is like he's one of those guys who's like, I mean, he's massive, right? He's cool. And then like how you can't get bigger than MJ, right? I mean that like MJ I think had to be picked in this draft because that was the Super Bowl halftime show that like set the standard. Like that was the Super Bowl halftime show that like said what a Super Bowl halftime show was. Before that, it was I was watching a video on this one time. That's why I know this. But like they had like musicals and like Disney characters. Like watch some of like the really old halftime shows before Michael Jackson. MJ comes along, changes the game of what a halftime show is at the Super Bowl, and they've been getting just they've had some weird phases, but they've been getting bigger and better since. So. Matt, really good team, but I think they were all really good. I mean, Rihanna had a great show, right? Lady Gaga was great, and then Wyatt's team is very versatile. With the West Coast, you got some rap, got some pop, and then Usher, sliding in that like kind of R&B early 2000s vibe. Yeah. I think we had three really good teams, so it was pretty tough to choose.
Well, Sammy, I agree with this. This does mean we need a tiebreak between Matt and Wyatt, and so I've got a few sort of sports trivia questions in my head for this one. I got to go with kind of a pretty easy one because it is 9 p.m. So we'll go with hockey because we haven't had any hockey in this episode. Okay. But in what year?
Matt, how much hockey do you know?
Zero. Zilch.
Do you know any hockey?
Not at all.
No? Okay.
This could be fun.
Yes. And I'm now so curious what the guesses are going to be.
I got one guess.
In which Winter Olympics did the Miracle on Ice, in which the U.S. hockey team defeated the Soviet Union, occur?
2008. No.
Okay, well
Winter Olympics.
The Soviet Union.
Winter Olympics. Soviet Union.
Okay,
that
is locked in.
It must be a year in which the Soviet Union existed.
One
and
answer,
defeated the
locked
Soviet
in.
Union.
No, I didn't hear the Soviet Union part. My bad. I just heard a Miracle on Ice.
I heard you give an answer.
Okay, Wyatt, shut up. It's not your turn yet. Okay.
Wyatt still has to get it right. So, and then we have a backup question. But.
Do we have? Okay.
Give
a year that the is it like Winter Olympics? Winter Olympics?
They've said that multiple times, bro.
Okay. All right, bro. 1980.
Oh, okay.
1986.
1980?
1986.
1986. Is that his answer? All right. And then Wyatt, what are we feeling?
I got no idea. Let's go. Soviet. Oh my god. I'll go near Matt. I'll go 82.
Well, unfortunately, both of you were wrong. Wyatt's very close. It was the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid.
Oh wow.
So yes, that's the answer. We'll do an easier question. We'll do a football question.
There we go.
Maybe slightly more manageable for you guys.
Okay.
Which NFL team was the first ever to finish a season with a record of 0-16 in the year 2008?
I think I know who it is.
Are you that confident that you know
first. No, I'm just being
it?
fair.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you. I thought you were like. I thought that was like an aura move. Like,
No,
hey,
no,
I'm gonna get it right
no.
no matter what.
No.
I gotta think.
An
For a
aura
second.
move.
Oh,
Should I give you guys an option, like 4 options for the answers?
I would love 4 options.
4 options?
4 options.
Okay,
Sure.
option A, option 1, the Cleveland Browns.
I knew it was gonna be up there.
Option 2, the Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Okay.
Option 3, the New York Jets. And option 4, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Detroit Lions.
Okay. As a Jets fan, I know the Jets did not go 0-16 in 2008. It was a bad year, but did not go 0-16.
Was that Brett Favre Jets?
That was Brett Favre.
Okay,
Jets,
yeah.
yes. Okay. Jets off the list. The Browns were decent. I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Okay.
It was the Lions.
Oh!
Woo! Wait.
Close.
Is that? Was that when Dan Campbell was actually on the team?
It may have
Because
been,
I feel like I saw that on Instagram where he was on his like that awful team and they had like a good team now. I feel like it was.
you may be right.
I think Instagram Reels came in clutch there for me, honestly. I think that's where it came from.
A fun shall I say, electric episode of Sports Voice. Thank you guys for coming on, 2 first-timers, and Matt, second-timer, right? I like it, getting some new faces in the OACR.
Absolutely.
Really fun stuff. We had a great time. I hope you guys had a great time. Hope you all listening at home had a great time, even if you were split screening this or watching it with the Chiefs game. Unfortunately, they won. Super Bowl predictions next week.
Yes.
So if you want to come back and talk some Super Bowl, we will be right here in the OACR. But until then, for Claire Connor, for all these incredible guests, I'm Sammy Krimstein. We will see you next week on Sports Voice.